Welcome. After 2 weeks no Jujutsu Kaisen, we finally have the leaks for chapter 227. I am going to be a little more quiet than I usually am because of course I'm covering this in the middle of the night where I'm at. I also have to give my weekly shout out to Miyamura for giving us the leaks. Twitter handle will be in the description down below. Please pardon me, man, I'm tired. Now with that lengthy and annoying intro done, let's get started with the chapter. So the chapter starts with Kusakabe not understanding the mechanism behind healing the burnt out curse technique through reverse curse technique. Yuta says it's not impossible since GOJO just showed it, but usually it's like an engine being overheated. One has to wait until it's cooled down in order to reuse it. So this page is kind of GEGE Akutami letting the reader know once again that every character doesn't know everything that the other character does about the power system in this series. And I think Kenjaku kind of made that clear when he fought Yuki Tsukumo, because if I'm remembering correctly about that fight, Kenjaku was also able to replenish his curse technique through reverse curse technique. After hearing what Yuta said though, Maki says that reverse curse technique can fix, but it can't cool down, right? Yuta says that's what he thought till now, but his understanding just wasn't enough. But Yuta starts to worry that GOJO may be doing something that is very overwhelming currently. Now I know this is gonna sound like GLAZING GOJO, but GOJO's just on another level, man. Everything that looks difficult to all these characters is just way too easy to him. I don't think GOJO's gonna get overwhelmed, but we'll just have to keep reading through the chapter to see. So the scene switches back to Sukuna and GOJO, and Sukuna once again uses the malevolent shrine and expands it to its full extent. And GOJO as well opens his domain once again, while Kusakabe shouts at him, asking, "Are you stupid? What are you thinking?" Ino wonders if GOJO's trying to repeat the same thing again, but Shoko rebukes him, saying that GOJO isn't such a softie. And everybody's favorite genius Higuruma notices that GOJO has switched the conditions of the inside and outside of his domain, meaning that GOJO's barrier is now strong against the attacks from the outside. Kusakabe whines, wondering how GOJO can easily just switch up the conditions of his domain. Sukuna's punches start to land on GOJO. Sukuna is able to use domain amplification while using domain expansion. And man, just another set of amazing hand-to-hand panels and the thinking. Bro, this fight is so peak, bro. Nothing compares to it. I'm sorry. After this chapter, top one, man. Can we all agree on that? But once GOJO starts to realize that Sukuna can use domain amplification while using domain expansion, his reaction is simply, who cares? But then he realizes that Sukuna's must hit effect from the shrine also seems to be turned off due to this. And you can see them just throwing more hands, and yo, GOJO hits Sukuna right in the liver. Like, he hits him with that hard punch. I know it's the middle of the night, so I forgot exactly where like that organ or body part is, but when you hit somebody there, yo, it hurts like yeah, you see that, and Sukuna's face is reeling from it. And then there's another cool panel where they're back to back, and you can see the combination of their domains with Sukuna's skulls from the malevolent shrine and GOJO's infinite void. Just very aesthetically pleasing page there. All in all, man, again for the billionth time, top one fight. And then the next page is Kenjaku. He's back. Bro, I literally predicted Kenjaku coming back into this chapter, but let me explain. Kenjaku explains that the people who doesn't get affected by GOJO's infinite void are GOJO himself and the person that he's currently touching. So Sukuna kept in touch with GOJO in order to survive the void, and got rid of his must hit effect from inside the domain in order to enhance the attack power outside of GOJO's domain. Thus, which looks like the same thing's about to happen again. GOJO once again loses the domain battle against Sukuna. Yuji wonders why, and Kusakabe realizes that Sukuna could also change the conditions of his domain just like GOJO. But Kashimo comes forward and says that if GOJO dies, he's really gonna go out and fight Sukuna. Back to the chapter. But to everyone's surprise, Sukuna's cuts aren't too deep. Kusakabe tells everyone that it's due to falling blossom emotion, a secret anti-domain technique passed down within the big three families. GOJO tells Sukuna that he had learned this when he was a kid, but he's never used it until now. And if you remember, now Beetle used this against Dagon in the Shibuya incident. It's very interesting that that's actually a thing that could make a bigger difference than simple domain, as I genuinely thought that was just a fancier simple domain. But of course, Lord GEGE never fails to surprise us with his spectacular LeBron James of manga writing. Anyways, the next page shows that GOJO once again uses his domain, but this time he expands it very largely. Pause. Kashimo says that GOJO's doing this in order to cover Sukuna's range, and Higuruma says that although it won't be destroyed from the outside, it's useless if he loses inside. And bro, GOJO's face in this panel is fire. You only see his eyes and the cuts on his face with his hand covering his face. Hard as hell, bro. This could be a cover page. But back to the chapter. Contrary to everyone's expectations, GOJO shrinks his domain expansion into a tiny little ball. And it's said that we have to find out what happens to both GOJO and Sukuna within this tiny domain expansion next week. So, all in all, I know that a lot of people were saying that the fight was going to end soon, and due to the editor's note of the quote-unquote climax, essentially, this fight was ending soon, right? I get it. But I genuinely think that the climax doesn't mean the fight is ending soon. And I say this because I remember when One Piece was dropping weekly and we had gotten to the quote-unquote climax of Wano. Mind you, the climax of Wano probably took a year to get there. Now, maybe this is cope, but I don't think that this fight's ending soon or ending in 1 or 2 chapters because of a climax. I do think that there actually is a high potential that the fight could end next week, but really, with the level of Jujutsu that these two are at, there's a plausible reason as to why you could believe that it can end any week. But the editor note specifically saying that the climax is here, I don't think that means what most people would think it mean in like the West. You know what I'm saying? In the West, we see the climax as like the final 5 seconds of a movie, whereas I think in other countries such as in the East, a climax is just the peak of what's happening, but there's always a down slope. But honestly, it was a really fun chapter. More hands, more jujutsu, more techniques. People keep saying GEGE's gonna end this series soon. I just don't believe it. I mean, because honestly, GEGE's going out of his way to use Falling Blossom emotion when he could have just had GOJO use another simple domain. You get what I'm saying? I don't see the point of GEGE doing all these extra things in these chapters if he's planning to end the series as fast as possible. I think we just need to take a step back and let this man cook per usual. So, of course, I'll go more in depth with the chapter during my review. I want to save my words for that. If you enjoyed the video, or if you appreciate me covering the leaks at this beautiful 1 a.m. night, well, 3 a.m. now, please leave a like, subscribe, and of course, I will see you guys next week. And feel free to discuss the leaks down in the comments, because you guys always point out things I may have missed. You know, I'm just like barely conscious and I'm going through all the hype. I'm not sitting here looking at the details, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.